Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to this weekend. Gosh, what a week it has been. We had, oh my gosh, we've had so much happen this week. We had tariffs begin. We had new exemptions. We had some tariffs no longer happening and moving. We had a time change. So we had a lot. We had a lot going on. We got so much to cover, for sure. So this is going to be a great show. Now, as you guys know, we had some technical difficulties before, and that's because StreamYard's been adding a whole bunch of new functions. So now we have, I've got these new things I can do that make it easy to move back and forth between different things. So if I want that, hey, if I want that, I can get there really, really quickly. I love it. It's a great addition for sure. So we have, we're going to have a great afternoon. I'm looking forward to it. It is a fairly nice day here. We're just shy of the freezing mark. But we got some blue skies over here in Ottawa, and it's not snowing. They initially were calling for 5 centimeters today. Maybe it's coming a little later, but so far, it is looking absolutely fantastic. So let's get this ball on the road. A ball on the road. Okay, sure, why not? Jonathan is in first with the "Am I late for the Liberal leadership race?" No, and in fact, we're going to have our own Liberal leadership race. I threw a poll up. We're going to see who you guys want. Don't put down who you think will win. Put down who you would vote for if you were a Liberal. So we'll pick a leader today, and maybe the Liberals can just pack up their convention and take our results. That's what I'm saying. So pick who you want. We'll keep track of it as we move through, and we'll see who wins. So far, right now, 81% for Carney. So we're gonna see. We're gonna see if maybe one of the others can overthrow the Carney. It's gonna be fun. Max is in the house second. Good afternoon, all. I think March Madness will continue on this week. China slapping on some tariffs too. Oh, there's plenty of tariffs to go around for everyone. Bring them on, China. We're ready. So, and another interesting thing. I'm not going to pull stuff out of the news yet. I'm not going to pull stuff out. But we also have the steel and aluminum tariffs. Those are going live on Wednesday. So we got a few things coming up for sure. Bismarcky says, good afternoon to everyone. I seem to have lost an hour overnight. Yeah, Trump went and put a tariff on time, so he stole an hour from all of us. Yep, that's my bet. That's my guess. I'm going to stick to it. Why not? Vic says, didn't Trump say he had eliminate time change? I don't know, but if he does, that's the one thing holding Canada back, is that because of the fact that we have so here's the big joke, because Canada has such great trade relations with the US, we don't want to get rid of the time change without them doing it too. Well, I don't know about them great trade relations anymore. They're interesting. MC says, good afternoon, everyone. Good to see you, MC. Hope you're having a good day over there in good old Quebec. You probably got the same weather as I do right now. Blue skies. Lisa is in the house with a good afternoon, everyone. Bismarcky says, let's see, little Marco is visiting Canada this week. I hope we give him a nice warm welcome. Yeah. King of Day is in the house with a hello all. Chad says, who cares what Trump says? Talk too much and repetitive like a child. Yeah, I mean, in a way, we could have avoided the tariffs completely if the second he started to talk about it, somebody would have just dangled a ball off on the side, and he could have pounced on that. We could have distracted him. So yeah, we brought it on ourselves. I'm guessing. Let's see. Vic says, bought the dip on MongoDB, but it kept dropping. Wouldn't you know it? That's what dollar cost averaging is about. You buy the dip, it drops a little bit lower, you get yourself some more at a lower price. Jordan is in the house with a hello, Candace. Hope you're well. Just a side note, I've had just about enough of the mango man-child. Yes, our ginger spiced dictator to be down to the south. He's has 4 years gone by yet? I don't think it has, but I'm going to look forward to it. And oh boy, and here's Well, actually, there might be some bad news. There may be some bad news. I've heard talks of Donald Trump Jr. thinking about throwing his hat in the ring for 2028. Like we need Donald Trump version 2.0. 1.0, bad enough. We don't need another. Chad says, Vic, think the market is due for a minus 30% correction. I'll hold off, set price limits that you're willing to buy at. We're going to see some. Yeah, here's the thing. We are heading towards a recession the way things are going right now. That is going to push things down lower. Absolutely. I'm kind of the thing is, if you're invested in something right now and they have solid fundamentals, they have a half decent moat, I'm not worried. If they're in the profits and you want to take those profits, yeah, sure, nothing wrong with that. But if you're in the red already on some stuff that has really good fundamentals, if anything, I would just look at maybe averaging down through the recession. Dollar cost averaging, that's when we'll be taking those cash positions that we have, and we're going to turn that cash into some pretty good deals once we get in there. Now, keep in mind, the recession is not going to happen immediately. Right now, heck, even the tariffs aren't happening immediately. We have tariffs on some stuff, but not on everything. Let's see. MC says, yes, very nice weather today in Montreal. Nice. Mary says, good afternoon, guys. Mary's in here. That means let's get the likes up. Let's get them all in there nice and early. I'm gonna have a little bit of coffee here while you guys are busy hitting the like button. Oh, so good. Chad says, Trump, what 60 days or so in power? Sick of home already? Oh my gosh. It's like every day of Trump in power feels like a month. It's yeah. Yeah, and we're only like a little more than a month in. It feels like a lifetime. King of Day says, what did we do to China? Why are they charging us tariffs? Did I miss something? I will honestly say I haven't had a chance to really look at the China stuff. So I'd have to look and see, but our relationships with China hasn't been that good ever since the two Michaels and all of the election interference stuff. So there's a bit of bad blood right now, and I think if that hasn't been resolved yet between Canada and China, so that might be part of what's going on. And keep in mind too, we followed suit when it comes to Chinese vehicles and throwing 100% tariff on them. So we have poked that bear, no doubt about it. Now, mind you, we did it because we were, standing up shoulder to shoulder with, the United States, that country that has now standing behind us and has tabbed us in the back a couple of times. What can I say? Oh, don't you hate autocorrect? I absolutely am not a big fan of autocorrect. In fact, I will usually go out of my way to turn off the autocorrect, especially if I get a new phone or a new computer, because I know it just does crazy things. All right, let's see. Only a few things, so no biggie. All right, so there we go. That's not too shabby. Not too shabby at all. All right, give me a second here. I'm just pulling up. There we go. All right. Prairie is in the house with a good afternoon, Candace and community. Happy Sunday. Yeah, it's a good Sunday. I'm liking it. For sure. Chad says, just buy locally and shop Canadian. Problem solved. Yeah, absolutely. Anytime, and this is the thing. This is where the U.S. has shot themselves in the foot. We're their biggest customer. Right across the board, we are their biggest customer. And even when this is resolved, and when tariffs are finally bye-bye, and we've got this all fixed, it may be after Donald Trump is gone, but people are going to remember. Canadians are going to remember this. And it's going to take them a long time, if ever, for the Americans to make the money that they used to make off of Canada. That gravy train, U.S., our gravy train is closed. I guess up here it's a poutine train. The poutine train is closed. None of it for you. Yeah, they're gonna have issues. They're absolutely gonna have issues with us. This is a long-term thing. Rory says, hi, Candace. Do you and everyone else have issues sending your taxes? If you have capital gains losses offline, it's frustrating. Yes, I did see that. So I saw that apparently there's something going on with the CRA. So if you have capital gains, you can't use any of the submit. You can't submit it electronically. That I don't know if it's going to be something they're going to fix sooner than later, but hopefully, because that's not great. So for now, if you have taken a lot of capital gains, or any capital gains for that matter, you may have to manually do your taxes and mail them in, or I don't know what other options there would be. So yeah, I did see that. So that's not great. But what can you do if you're an investor? And I think most people in this in here right now probably are running into this. So that's not good. And Chad is still waiting for T4s. The T5000s don't do taxes till the end of April. Yeah, and it depends. Like if you have, like for an example, if you're self-employed, you get an extra month to do your taxes. So that's always something that's not too shabby for sure. So I like it. All right. Well, I'm going to switch. I'm going to move into the news area a little bit. I like how I can just move so fast. But now what's beautiful is as I'm doing the news, you guys can ask me questions now, and I can quite literally just go straight here, and then as soon as I answer the question, right back to the news like that. It's suave. I'm kind of like a kid with a toy on Christmas morning right now. I am loving this. I am absolutely loving this. All right. Oh, by the way, we got the swag meter up on the top. I'll just point that out. So if in March we get to 25 supers, or even gifted subs, I'll count those as well. We're gonna do a swag giveaway, so that could be kind of cool. I finally got my piece of swag here. I'll just lean back. This is my Holy Banana Bread T-shirt, so I'm enjoying it. It's actually 100% cotton. I'm loving it. I can wear it while I'm on stream. I'm like, woohoo! I like it. Jay says, while we are sidetracked with Trump, NATO troops are in the border of Norway as we speak. Oh, yeah. I've heard so many things. I've heard everything from Trump is thinking about pulling out of NATO to also thinking about having Canada booted out of NATO. It's craziness. It's absolutely craziness. I have a feeling that if anybody's going to leave NATO, it's going to be the U.S. Europe, Canada, we're tight. We're tighter right now than any of us are with the States. I think everybody is currently looking at Trump, and it's like, oh dear God, what's he going to throw at us? It's like, oh, he's still obsessing on the Canadians. Okay, we have more time, but he's already said that tariffs for the EU. He's got them on the books. He's planning them. They're coming. Unfortunately, I don't think he's going to spare anybody. Well, maybe his buddy, because I think he's going to cut back on all of the Russian sanctions, and maybe him and Putin will be out there just having some golf as they laugh about how the Canadians are squirming. Oh boy, it's not good. It's not good. Jonathan says, I'm buying the Brookfield dip. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Brookfield they've been, they've suffered a little bit recently. Let's take a look here. Yeah, I can just pull this up very, very easily. And we'll start with Brookfield. We'll go to Brookfield Corporation for this time. This time around, we'll do Brookfield Corporation. And I'm just going to pull up the 1 year. And you can see, I mean, they're having a little bit of a correction. But that's, as far as I'm concerned, that's very healthy. And what Jonathan is doing is perfect. Because I have a lot of faith in Brookfield Asset Management as well as Brookfield Corporation. This is Brookfield Corporation. Brookfield Asset Management, I'll pull them up as well. And here we go. And we'll do that 1 year. You'll see it's the exact same thing. So they are definitely running into some issues. There's a lot of problems right now. Of course, that's what we're talking about, right? All of them problems, the tariffs and everything else. So yeah, it's going to be a mess. And I think it's going to be a mess for a while. But, that's the thing. This is the opportunity to start. And I'm going to say this right now. If you've been sitting on a big pile of cash, don't spend it all now. There's more to come. There's going to be bigger opportunities to come, especially if we move into a recession. You don't want to be, and that's the thing. This is the way I handle it. So when it comes to dollar cost, all the money that I buy, I'm going to dollar cost average into some of the really, the fundamentally sound stuff as it is on sale. But I'm not going to spend I'm not going to like spend everything in the first month of bad times of a red market or of moving into a recession. I'm going to just pace it out. I'm going to spend a little bit at a time, dollar cost averaging across it, because we don't know how long we're going to be in a recession for. We really don't. The way this is going right now, this could turn into a very long recession. If Trump doesn't see the error of his tariff ways, he could really wreck the economy. And even if he wrecks, like if he keeps those tariffs in and gets worse, let's say he does it for the full 4 years. Oh boy. That's definitely a holy banana bread moment, but it's not going to be a situation where, he loses the election, or I guess he's not going to lose. He's not running again. But when he leaves office, it's not going to be a situation where all of a sudden the economy fixes itself magically. It might take time. It could even, if we're still in a recession after 4 years, it could even take another year to get out of the recession. So we could have a significant, now this is worst case scenario, guys. I don't want to scare you, but there is that possibility of things getting pretty bad. So that's, yeah. What can I say? Chat says, let's see. Yeah, what a distraction this world has become. Have to look outside the chart show to see what's really happening. Yeah, well, I'll tell you. Right now everybody is focused on the tariffs and the craziness around Doge and all of this stuff that's happening in the Oval Office. If you wanted to get something shady by off to the side, this would be a really good distraction. So yeah, that's what I always like to say. When there's really big distractions, it never hurts to take a look at the periphery just to see what is going on, because most people aren't. That's for sure. Sophie is in the house with a good afternoon crew. All right. Love it. All right, let's do our first news story, shall we? And one thing I still have to do is I still have to bring up the thing. So we had our jobs report. So jobs that dropped on Friday. And for the most part, our unemployment and jobs held pretty steady. So unemployment came in at 6.6%. We had been expecting, 6.6%, and it was 6.6% the month before. So nothing changed on unemployment, which is great, because I do know some companies have already started laying people off in anticipation of tariffs. So The fact that we held steady at 6.6%, fantastic. Now, new jobs, 1.1 thousand. We actually had expected quite a bit more. We were expecting 20,000 new jobs. So jobs did come in on the light side. Last month, we had a really good month, 76,000 new jobs. Now, the jobs that we did have of that 1.1, well, we actually lost 19.7 thousand full-time jobs, and we gained 20.8 thousand part-time jobs. Wages actually went up a little bit. So, excuse me, wages were year over year 4%. We were only expecting 3.5. So that's well, I know the Bank of Canada, they're always worried about the of that wage price spiral, and I'm not too worried about it. 4% is fine. Now, let's see here. So job growth last month was led by, we had a couple of sectors, wholesale and retail trade sectors, as well as finance, insurance, real estate, rental, and leasing industries. They did do pretty good. Now, some of the areas where we had some losses, though, were professional, scientific, and technical services, as well as transportation and warehousing. And that kind of makes sense with what's going on. Now, our manufacturing industry, they led in January. We had the most gains in that sector, but this time it actually contracted by 4,800 positions in February. So we definitely took a little bit of a hit there. Now, province-wise, every province held steady except for Nova Scotia. Nova Scotia did lose in total 4,200 part-time positions, so not too good. Another interesting factor, we of course had some of the big snowstorms that came in the last month. They cost Canada 429,000 hours of lost work. So that was mostly in Ontario, Quebec, for the most part. U.S. jobs report also came in. Their unemployment sitting at 4.1%. So it was a little higher than they were expecting. They were expecting 4. They reported 151,000 jobs. So jobs came in a little hot, believe it or not. They were expecting 125,000. And their wages were also year over year sitting at 4%. Now, one thing that is interesting, and I think I mentioned this on Friday, the federal government, they actually shed 10,000 jobs almost entirely thanks to Doge. So good old Doge causing some problems for us. All right. Jay says globalization is what made China powerful. Trump's doing these chaos to weaken Chinese economy. Let's see, U.S. dollar reserve currency under threat. China now one of the biggest holders of gold. Yeah, I mean, he is absolutely upending the world order with what he is doing. So yeah, not good at all. Not good at all. Let's see. Vic says, have a look at the MDB chart, US. Okay, let's do that. What is it? MDB. Let's pull it up here. MDB. All right, and here we go. This is, of course, Mongo. All right, let's pull this up. All right. Oh, look at this. So here's that dip. Here's that dip that Vic was talking about. I'm going to pull back to the 1 year. So, okay, they've, yeah, they had a little bit of an issue here, and then they slowly building up. So if you look at it this way, they might slowly build up from here, but it's hard to say what's going to happen. But I am curious to take a look here. So, okay, they are totally growth, and basically right down here. So they are document-oriented database with 33,000 paying customers. Not too shabby. Not too shabby. They also got about 1.5 million free users. All right. I am a little curious here to take a look. All right. So, ooh, boy. So right now they're losing money. We got a negative debt to equity ratio. So they're not profitable at the moment. Their debt to equity ratio is 77%. But this return on equity, oh, negative 1623. Not good. Not good. That might be why they're dropping. It might be why they're dropping. But yeah, I I hate. I don't want to. Hate's probably too strong words, but I really don't like jumping in on something that's not profitable. It it's just one of those things that's like, they've got it's like they have an extra hurdle they have to overcome before they're gonna make me money. So yeah, hopefully they can get this. And keep in mind, I'm coming at this. I just have a bit of fundamentals in front of me. There's probably reasons going on behind the scenes too that, if I was thinking like if I was Vic, I would be looking at some of those and finding out what's going on. So that's interesting. That is interesting. All right. All right. Let's see. Rory says Service Canada will shut down when unemployment skyrockets. Watch. Um, yeah, I don't know how this is going to happen. I know they're talking about supports but yeah, unemployment. There's that there is a potential there that unemployment could get absolutely out of control. If we get north of 10%, then I'm going to start worrying a little bit. I don't even want to see us go north of where we are now, but it's probably going to happen. I'm just hoping that that Trump has a moment, maybe he gets visited by three spirits and they teach him the error of his ways or something, but something needs to happen. Unfortunately, right now, all the people he's surrounding himself with, they're all yes people. It's like, here's a dumb idea. Yes, that's great. Here's another really dumb idea. Yes, that's fantastic. That's what he's surrounded by. It's not good at all. It's not good at all. Vic says was like 500 per share or hereabouts. Yeah, I saw that. Like when we were looking here, just go back here. We only looked at. I mean, we were only looking at the 1 year. Let's go out to the 5 year. I mean, look at one point, 500. Yeah, 569, and then they got back to almost 500 again. Yeah, it's just, I don't know. I don't feel I just don't like that negative debt to debt to equity, that negative return on equity. It's just it's one of my things I don't like, though. I don't like that very much. But hopefully, I mean, if history, they have done this type of thing before. So, I think you're kind of hoping that they can recover, get back up to 500 before they crash again. Maybe it's a possibility. I mean, we've already got a pattern. Go out 10 years. Yeah, well, everything used to be good up here until basically, well, right about here. Let's see here. Where is it? Oh no, they didn't even have that bad of a pandemic. Like I'm just taking here's their little pandemic drop. Then they had a really good bull market, and then this was a bear market right in here. So that's fine. Bear market, and then the recover. And yeah, they are kind of reacting to what's going on in the economy, but it's that negative. It's the fact that they're not profitable at the moment has me a little worried. Now, mind you, let me just take a couple ganders here. If you look at their market cap, I mean, they're 13.97 billion. So they have a certain amount of a moat, but yeah, this is just not a company I would be interested in personally, but you might a year from now, you might be coming back in here and saying, Candace, I made a crap load of money. You were wrong. And I'll be happy if that happens. I will be very happy for you. All right. A says, hi, Candace. Are there any list of stocks to be affected by tariffs? TELUS and BCE is doing well. Will Enbridge be affected? There kind of was, actually. Not so much on the internet. I did a live stream for the channel members, and we actually did go through a whole bunch of different companies and the level of impact that tariffs would have on them. So for the most part, and this is, you can sort of reason this out for the most part. Look at what a company does. If it imports, exports, yeah, it's going to get hit big time. If it requires parts from the United States, yeah, that's going to impact them. So you want to look at what's happening border wise. So if you look at a company like, and we'll use Enbridge here, um, Enbridge, for the most part, they're mostly utilities. I mean, you can talk with the pipelines. That's kind of a separate thing. But utility companies in general are not going to be impacted big time. They'll have collateral damage. Like everybody is going to get impacted in one way, shape, or form. No doubt about it. But they would have collateral damage. So that's, that's going to be interesting. Now, they will still be moving oil through their pipelines, and they've got pipelines that cross the border. But the oil that they're moving, it's not their oil. Other people, people are paying to use their pipeline. So that will be another indirect effect. Now, things like TELUS and Bell, and Rogers, for that point of view, I mean, they're not selling their stuff to the United States. So it's not like, there's any kind of import export. So they're more of what'll impact them is people. So people who are impacted through, let's say, getting laid off, things like that. Well, they'll get to a point where they have to start downscaling their lives. So they might have to cut back on some of their phone plans, things like that. Maybe they have to get rid of their cable TV. That will start to impact some of those companies like TELUS, Bell. It's kind of an indirect, but it's still going to be an impact. So everybody will be impacted to certain degrees, but it comes down to how much. Like if you have a direct impact, it's going to hurt you a lot more. Take a company like, let's see here, Dollarama. Dollarama, people flock to a store like Dollarama when, we're in economic bad times because, people don't want to spend extra on stuff. They want to get the cheap stuff. Go to Dollarama, get the cheap stuff. But guess what? Dollarama does source some of that cheap stuff from the States. So some of those items will have like a 25% tariff on them. So you could potentially see some prices go up at Dollarama. But, I know that they're actually looking to source a lot of things that they already source from the US. They're looking for other sources to see if they can prevent that from happening. But even if things go up 25% at Dollarama, they're still cheaper than most other places. So that's not going to impact them as much. So, it's kind of, you have to kind of look at what they're doing and how they're doing it. All right. Chad says, oops, and I'm going to pull this back here. Let's see, better returns in China, German market compared to USA. All right. Yeah. I mean, right now, the US, what Trump is doing is he's tanking the US market. He's tanking so yeah. Some other markets are probably going to be better. But once he starts laying the tariffs on the EU, on the UK, then we're just going to have chaos everywhere. Probably one really good ETF right now is any of your all equity. So things like XEQT, just because you have exposure to pretty much markets everywhere. So you got Asia, you got Europe, you got the US, you got Canada, Australia in there. You got the emerging markets. So that way there, whoever he's not currently focusing on and who's any markets that are doing okay, that'll help sort of even out some of the other markets that are being hit bad by some of the stuff that he's doing. What can you do? What can you do? Chad says, but China holds 800 billion of US debt, which the world is quickly selling off with Trump's BS. Yeah. I mean, if everybody wants to start, one of the interesting things, and I heard, and I don't think anybody's been focusing on this earlier on, Trump had said something about some severe retaliations to any country that drops the US dollar as their reserve currency. So yeah, this is going to get messy. This will definitely get messy. All right. And Sophie is saying, don't forget to hit the like button. Yeah, guys, hit that like button. I'm going to have some coffee. So, and Rory says, this is Governor Trudeau's last day in the spotlight. Yes, we have, and who is winning? Oh my gosh, yeah, you guys are totally all voting for Carney. So we do have a poll up right now. We got 36 votes, 92% Carney, 6% Bayless, 3% Gould. Look at this. Freeland, 0%. Nobody has voted for Freeland. I love it. I love it. So it looks to me like this is, yeah. I'm going to end this poll. This is so clear cut. It's simple. It's simple. All right, liberals. If you're watching this, cancel your convention. Carney won. We've done it for you. Look at that. Bayless just picked up another. Well, maybe I should leave this going. If Bayless is gonna, all right, we'll leave it going for a little bit longer. Next time somebody mentions Trudeau, then I'll go in and we'll close it out. All right. Jordan says, I haven't seen a label checker since the late 80s, early 90s. Well, out of pride, I am again. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. And right now too, like I think most of the stores, now I've not been inside a store since this all has begun, but a lot of stores are putting up little Canadian leafs to let you know on the labels that you're getting Canadian. And I've seen some interesting stuff. I was watching some stuff, and there was an interview I think CBC did with this one guy, and he was like, I was halfway to the register, and I was like, I'm just gonna double check. And then he realized he had a couple of items that were made in America, so he had to go and put them back. So interesting thing. And yeah, finally stepping down. Goodbye, Trudeau. Goodbye. It was nice knowing you, but you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. Bismarck, he says, Trump is going to cause a worldwide recession. Yeah, that is a real danger. I think the World Economic Forum have been saying that things are setting up for that potential for a worldwide recession. And here's the thing, guys. If you asked me 3 years ago if we would ever see another depression, so we're not talking recession, we're actually talking a depression. I would have said no. I would say that we know enough and we have enough tools to prevent that from happening that we probably won't see one again. However, with what Trump is doing, and if he persists this through the 4 years, I'm not saying we're going to get a depression, but I'll say this will be the closest we'll ever get to one. Potentially, because I want to be completely wrong, and we can get rainbows and puppies. I'm all for that. But I don't see that at this point in time. Rory says Mr. Burns will be the plant. There we go. Chad says Carney going to be worse than Justin Trudeau. I think it's hard to say. I mean, Justin Trudeau. I mean, I will say. I'm going to give Justin Trudeau some credit. Coming out of the gate when he first took office, the whole rhetoric that Stephen Harper had is that he's just not ready. He's not ready. Maybe later, but he's not ready. But he did do better initially. He did better than I think anybody gave him credit for. And I was okay with that. But I think once we moved into the second term, we had some cracks, and by the time the pandemic hit, things just got, everything went downhill from there. And now we have a new leader. Hopefully tonight. Does anybody know what time that the convention starts? I don't know. I was like, I knew it was on Sunday, and I was like, there's no chance of it happening before the stream. All right. Paul says 250,000 people couldn't vote in the Liberal leadership race. Oh, wow. Yeah, that's not good. And Sophie is on the Carney is worse than Justin Trudeau. I'm on the. This is kind of the way I go. People have a reputation coming in. I always reserve my judgment. I'm like, let's see what you can do. Then if you F it up, I'll give you, I'll give you credit for it for sure. But I'll give him. I always give a person a chance. You got a chance to mess up. Absolutely. All right. Chat says gonna be depressing and then followed by stagnation, or sorry, depressing and then followed by stagnation. Hold your cash, buy the dip if minus 15 to 30% or more. Yeah, because we do have a situation like coming up this week. We do have the Bank of Canada decision, and I have a feeling that we're actually going to see a rate cut, another rate cut. Just because with the economy being hurt so bad by these tariffs, and even though these tariffs are probably going to raise the price and cause tariff-induced inflation, the economy has to trump it. I think the economy really, really has to trump it. And keep in mind, we have a massive amount of mortgages coming up for renewal this year. And these are people who, a lot of them, they got like sub 2, sub 3% rates, and their rates are going to be jumping easily above 5. And a lot of these people are not going to be able to afford it. We're going to see loan losses. That, the banks have been preparing for this. It's coming. So that's something to keep in mind. So I think cutting that rate is probably a good thing at this point in time. We may have to live with the increased prices, but I would rather have higher prices and more people working, more people living in their houses. I would rather have that personally. Bismarck, he says, I'm depressed just hearing Trump's name every day, but also gives comedians lots of material. Yeah, absolutely. Rory says, I'll be watching Northern Perspective later. Nice. I think I've caught a few of those shows. Tim says, Trudeau could redeem himself in this goodbye speech by calling out Trump as a Russian puppet and ask Melania out on a date. Why not? Yeah, it's like, why not? I'm, you know what? I have this thing where I say everything and nothing. I always think that nothing can surprise me ever. And I'm kind of in that position now, but somehow Trump still finds ways. I'd love a surprise like that. I mean, just because it would be amusing. I don't know. Chad says, let's see, Justin Trudeau only got voted in by the newer generations because of legal weed, which contributes to more addiction problems. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I mean, that was a big promise by the Liberals initially, and I'm sure that did help. It's actually interesting. Like, I know investing wise, because of the legal weed, everybody thought that weed companies were going to explode and it was going to be like a money printer for everyone. But it didn't quite go that way. It certainly didn't go that way at all. Seabass says, I predict Trump will be very confused about Canada having a new prime minister without an election. He will post nonsense about this for sure. You know what? I think you're probably right, Seabass. He'll probably say, Canada has a new prime minister without an election. What is going on there? They need to be the 51st state so that we can bring democracy to Canada. That's what I could see that. All right. Oh, okay. So it begins. So it's already begun. So the leadership convention is ongoing. So let's see. Leadership voting concludes at 3 p.m. So guys, maybe we're going to be able to find out. You know what? Let's head over here for a second. I'm going to bring up. I'm actually going to bring up. We'll bring up the Globe and Mail, and because they'll break it. They'll break it pretty quickly. Let's see. Live. All right. Voting has ended as the country waits to find out who will be the new leader. All right. So we don't have one yet, but we'll come back and check that. We'll come back and check that. Oh, wait a minute. How about I actually, here we go. Do it on the right screen. I was actually on the wrong screen. The screen I was not sharing. All right, here we go. Yeah, so here it is. This part in here. So live updates, voting has ended. All right, let's find out. We'll keep that on the side, and we'll come back and figure that out. All right. Jay says the elites can smile on camera knowing they have a bunker ready. We're on our own when the poo hits the fan. Yeah, maybe. Money Water says, "Hi all. Given the seesaw stock market, I will be holding cash for a while. We'll be putting it in cash ETF for now. Yeah, that's not a bad thing. Well, this month, so this month in the 0 to 100K challenge, I was at 3 cash each month, so 3 shares of cash, but I did bump that up to 4. And I might even I'll probably bump it up again in April for sure, because right now it does not hurt to be adding to that cash position for sure. Chad says, but when you cut the rates, it lowers the strength of the CAD. It's like a double-edged sword. We need to go back to the gold to the gold standard, right? Before Canada becomes third world. It does, and that's the thing, Chad. It's a balancing. Sometimes you have to sort of you may have to do a little bad now just to sort of prevent worse from happening and then deal with the bad later. And well, that's kind of, if you think about the pandemic and the trouble we got into there, sort of a similar thing. Yeah, it's going to be a mess. I think it's going to be a mess no matter what we do. Canada. That would be a great name for a reactor. It's sort of like the can do, but the Canada. Lisa says, Justin likes to keep his citizens high and oblivious. Oh boy. All right. Let's see. All right. Oh, we got a question here. Can Canadians hold ETFs in euros? Thinking our family won't travel to the US anymore and travel to Europe. That's a good question. It's outside of, I've never really thought about it. I will say this right now, but it would depend on the broker, first of all. So first of all, if you have a broker that will let you trade in euros and create a euro account, I can't see why. I mean, we could do it with US, right? We can hold US, we can have a US account. So maybe, but I don't know which broker. If anybody knows of a broker that will actually allow you to hold euros in it, that would be very interesting. Hit the chat if you know of one. I don't know of one off the top of my head, but now my mind is going to keep on thinking about it. So I'll have to find out eventually. Chad says, just look at the drug problem in British Columbia. East Hastings is the worst street in Canada. Funny story about British Columbia. So when I first moved to British Columbia, I took a bus and it went through East Van at that point. And I was not prepared for what I was going to see. I was looking out and I saw all these people that were absolutely destitute. At first, I was like, oh, are they filming? Are they filming like a zombie movie or something? But no, it was all the people that were homeless and on drugs. And it was just, I think they've cleaned it up a lot since then, I think, but I haven't been to Vancouver now in a while. But yeah, I was just I was surprised. I was shocked because, I mean, at that point, my exposure was you don't see very much in Halifax or Calgary. Those are pretty much the two biggest cities I lived in at that point. Well, also Kingston, Ontario. I had a little bit of time in there. But yeah. Rory says it rivals Skid Row in LA under gruesome Newsom. Let's see. Canada doesn't even own gold. How sad is that? Yeah. I like the gold standard. I really like the idea of actually having, something to represent the cash, put some kind of physical thing behind it. Because right now, technically, even the US dollar, technically, it's not really backed by anything. So, other than our belief in the US, and right now people are losing belief in the US. So what does that say about their currency? Chad says people hated Harper, but at least the books were balanced and never said the book will balance themselves. What a boneheaded comment. All right. Zoo Trader says maybe interactive brokers for the Europe question. I was kind of thinking it would be something like that. I don't think you can. I'm pretty sure you can't do it on National Bank. I'm pretty sure. I know you can't do it on Wealth Simple. So, Who knows about Quest Trade? Still, still fighting to get that set up. Bleak says, "Hey all." Let's see. Yeah, Canada is 188th countries that don't hold your gold. You're right. Oh man. A says, "Is there anything equivalent to gold on the TSX to hedge against a recession?" All right. There's a lot of different metals that people will use. So gold, silver, palladium. So and then there is. Oh, let's go there. Let's go to crypto. Then we got Bitcoin. Now, Bitcoin. Ideally, Bitcoin could be a hedge against inflation. I don't think it's there yet, but I think it's closer than it was even 3 years ago. I think Bitcoin is much closer to being a hedge today than it was back then. Um, so that's kind of one of those things. So, but I've noticed as well that Bitcoin hasn't been behaving completely like a hedge. Sometimes it does, but right now I have noticed that a lot of times the market crashes, down goes crypto too. But we'll have to sort of see. And also the fact that somebody like at this point, like Trump can come out and say, "Oh yeah, we're doing our crypto reserve," and all of a sudden, bang, Bitcoin is up to the moon, and then it's right back down the next day. So I'm not yet convinced that Bitcoin is a hedge against inflation yet, or against the economy. So I think right now, gold, silver, I think those are still probably your safer bets at this point in time. Paul says Vancouver Hastings is even worse than it had. Oh, really? Ooh. All right. I was hoping it was better, but I guess not. You can still pan it in Edmonton. Yeah, I think there's a lot of places that you can pan. Like even Nova Scotia. I did watch a documentary once on some of the gold. Apparently, there's still a lot of gold in Nova Scotia, but it's just it's not like it's easy. It's easy to get, but yeah, absolutely. Let's see. All right. All right. Chad says even Prince George getting bad now too. Too much hard drugs. Yeah. Yeah, we need to do something about the drugs, that's for sure. Let's see. You can read between the lines, working bulldogs. Vic says, "Thanks for the insight on MDB. Appreciate the quick lookup." All right. Wayne says, "HBU and HBD are plays on Bullion Horizon ETFs." Yeah, there's a couple like that as well. Yeah, GLDM and Kilo.B, good gold ETFs. Let's see, names just changed to GLDU and GLDD. Yeah, so there's definitely some good, definitely good gold. And keep in mind, another option as well is, not just so much gold companies and gold ETFs. You can also get into things like some of the gold miners. Some of them are good. Some of them are good. I know a lot of people let me just pull this up here. I know a lot of people in the community all right, I'm just going to get back over here. B2B. Here we go. B2B. There we go. No, that's not it. Sorry. B2G. I'll just type in their name. No, it's B2. All right. I'm typing in their name. We're talking about Barrick. All right. All right. Well, no, that's not. Oh, I was thinking of I was thinking of the other one, but Barrick will work as well. So Barrick Gold, and we'll just pull up the year, and you can sort of see as things start to go sideways, they start moving up. So it's kind of like this. The other one is why did I think? I thought it was B2T. Now I'm obsessed. B2T. No, all right. I think it's B2 Gold though, or B2 something like that. Guys, off. One of you correct me in the in the chat. I'm like, All right. Oh, wait a minute. Maybe it's BTG. There it is. Yeah, B2 Gold. I got it. Yeah, I'm having one of those days. Let's pull them up though. And it's the same kind of idea. Like as the situation comes down, like as we get more turmoil, people are starting to buy and they're starting to invest. And you can almost plot something like this against sort of world sentiment, and it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing at all. So this is kind of a good one. The video that's coming out on Tuesday, I've got another gold miner in there that's actually really good as well. So just keep that in mind. All right, Chad says, crypto crashing today, but 2-year hedge comment about crypto for 3 years up over 200%. I have to agree to disagree. Yeah, and that's fine. I mean, crypto has made a lot of money. Absolutely. It's been one of the best investments when you look at Bitcoin over just over the last 3 years. Yeah, you can. Nothing else will have made you more money. But when I'm talking about a hedge, I'm kind of separating that from the fact that you're making a crap load of money. To me, a hedge is something that maintains that value. So I think right now, crypto still is kind of in that infancy, and it's still some people still see it as speculative. I don't really see it as speculative. I do think it's a good investment. I do think you can make a lot of money with it. I will definitely be stacking Bitcoin during the next crypto winter because why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you? Because look at what happens. Look at what happens. Like, all of those people who are stacking, buying Bitcoin when it was down at 20,000, they made a lot of money when it got back up, when it got up to 100,000. And that's just in a couple of years. So yeah, absolutely. Jay says, investing, how to grow food like aquaponics in the future is better than putting all your money in the stock market. To me, stock market is the casino. The house always wins. I guess I kind of disagree to a little extent. If you do it smart, and if you are playing on a long scale, a long term, then yeah. But if you're in there and you're trying to, you're doing more trading opposed to investing, then yeah, a lot of times there's so much, there's so many algorithms that you're investing against, so many bots, AIs that are, it makes it very difficult. It's very hard to trade on shorter time scales unless you know what you're doing, unless you get a good grasp on technical analysis. That helps for sure. All right. Let's see. AYA and K are a couple of good gold names. There we go. Yeah. K. I feel like I should know K. I feel like I should. So yeah, Kinross. Duh. Yeah, and it's the same kind of situation. Let's come out here and you'll see. But Kinross, look at this. Now this is much better. They've been doing fantastic. So when you look at something like this, compared to like B2 Gold or Barrick, this is really, really good. This is the potential that gold can have. And I think gold, when we get on the other side of all of this turmoil, I think most gold charts are going to look closer to this than what we've been seeing with gold. But, and here's that thing. Once the danger has passed, and once, tariffs start dropping in that, if you've been riding a wave like this up, that's when it might be time to get off, take some profits, maybe look at moving your money a little bit differently for sure. All right. Lisa says, when I was a kid in the 80s, they used to scare the crap out of us about drugs, do drugs and go to jail or overdose. Now the government gives them the needles and places to do it. Ridiculous. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I remember like here's a frying pan. This is your brain. This is your brain on drugs or the egg or whatever. Yep. Absolutely. Let's see. Narcon to bring them back if they do. Yep. All right. Michael says, hello, Candace. If time permits, can I please get your thoughts or a brief analysis of Mullen Group? I have a position and wondering if it might benefit from the growth of interprovincial trade. Interesting. Let's pull up Mullen Group since I have everything up here. All right. So MTL is, of course, Mullen Group. First thing is basically, if you take a look here, So basically, North America's largest logistic providers with a network of independently operated businesses that have a wide range of services. So truckload warehousing. So yeah, these are the guys that coordinate the movement of stuff all over the place. And if with the reduction of interprovincial territories, interprovincial, what's the best word for it? Just the interprovincial barriers, with those coming down, yeah, there's going to be a lot more stuff moving across the country. That will definitely help a company like this. Now, I do not know, does Mullen Group transport to the States? Because they will get, if they are doing cross-border, that will impact them as well. But they're going to have a lot more internal business. So that might help weigh it out. And that's a good thing. That's a good thing. Now, right now, they do have a pretty sizable dividend. Like, look at this, 6.417%. And that's a monthly dividend. But let's go into the key data here for a second. All right, so they got their debt to equity ratio. It's 98%. So basically, they got a fair amount of debt. I'd love to see that come down a little bit. But their return on equity, 11.27%. That's not too bad. Not too bad at all. And I have a feeling, like, I don't know what the payout ratio is on this. Let's find out. MTL. We'll go over to Yahoo. All right. MTL, Mullen Group. Here we go. Perfect. And we'll head over here to statistics. Let's take a gander down here. Payout ratio. Oh, that's lower than I was expecting. 62.60%. So that dividend is it's looking to be pretty sustainable. So yeah, I think Mullen Group could be an interesting play. Absolutely. Let's see. Chad says Barrick Gold also pays dividends. Nice. I love those guys. Been buying for a while. Yeah, I mean, I think all the gold companies are not too shabby. Now, Barrick, let's head back over here. Of course, it's not coming up. Come on, there we go. All right, let's take a gander down here. Oh, guys, come on. Sometimes it doesn't populate right away. So yeah, you got a quarterly dividend, 2.137%. It's not big. It's not big. But if we go into the back end of Barrick, right now, the return on equity, 9.05%. So it's not too bad. But this here, look at this. Their debt to equity ratio, 19%. Love it. Love it. That's pretty darn good. So I'm okay. Like I said, I like Barrick. I also like B2. And there is another one I like, and you guys will see that in the video. Michael says, I notice like all banks, big and small, keep going lower each day. The banks right now are in an interesting place. And just give me a second. I'm going to pull this up here. All right, we'll go this way for a bit. And I'll have a little drink here before I go on our bank rant. So the banks right now are in a very interesting place. And what I mean by that is they've got two stressors coming at them at the same time. So the first stressor, of course, is that pandemic mortgage wave. All these people who have sub 2, sub 3%, the big chunk, the really big chunk, that's all hitting them this year. Now, they have been putting aside money for loan loss provisioning, which is fantastic. So far, they have done a really good job with that. But the true test of that is coming right now. This year, we'll see a lot. It'll also see it into we will also see it into 2026 and even a little bit into 2027. But the bulk of it will be this year, and then it will start petering out next year. But yeah, they have that. In addition to that, they now have the fallout of tariffs, because as people get laid off, as people people get laid off, the economy starts tanking. that all impacts the banks at the same time. So this is almost like another separate crisis all on its own. So their crisis amounts have gone from 1 to 2. So they're also going to have loan loss provisioning that they're going to have to start thinking about for the tariffs. If you have people who all of a sudden maybe their mortgage isn't up for renewal, but if they lose their jobs, maybe they can't make that anymore. Maybe they end up defaulting on that mortgage. So these are other factors that are going to start coming in. So yeah, the banks are going to they're going to have it rough. Like I like our banking sector. I think our banking sector is going to be fine, but we might have that opportunity to to get some of the banks at a little bit of a discount over the next few years, and depending on how bad things get. So once we got the heat of both sides coming at once, yeah, you're gonna see some falling in the banks, and it will be very, very interesting. Now, the banks that probably some of the smaller banks will, and it's kind of interesting. So when I think of Laurentian Bank, like I think Laurentian Bank is ripe to be bought. So they could easily be bought up. Like I know I was talking to somebody in one of the comments on the recent bank review, and I think we were both sort of thinking TD would be a prime company to buy up Laurentian Bank. And I've even heard a couple people suggest that maybe even a bank like EQ Bank could get bought. I hope not. I mean, I love EQ Bank. I use EQ Bank. I want them to stay exactly as they are. But there is going to be pain in the banking sector. They're doing the right thing, though. That's where I give them credit. They're doing the right thing. They're putting aside the cash. But will it be enough? That we don't know. No, I don't even think they know if they've put enough aside. So what I would say, if I was looking at the banks, each quarter they put aside more money for the following quarter, I would be like, put aside more money, take some hits now. Maybe your profits will take some hits, but put aside the more money than you think you need, just to be on the safe side. So we'll have to see how that's all going to work out. But yes, banks are going to take a little bit of a hit. Tom says, I just bought some B2 gold. Nice. Chad says, or go to TD Bank and buy the physical gold. You're better off, in my opinion, to hold the real deal. And, I can't argue with that. I mean, if you like physical gold, silver, there's nothing wrong with holding your own, other than the fact that you have to deal with the custodianship of it. That's that one thing. Like, if you're gonna start stacking gold, like physical gold, you want to make sure that you're stacking it in a safe place, or if you're using a custodian service, like I think the Canadian Mint has that option where you can actually, they'll protect your gold for you. But usually, I think a lot of people who love gold on their own are probably those type of people that wouldn't trust a company like the Canadian Mint to do it. So, have a safe, have a fireproof safe, have a safe that that can't just be pulled off and taken away. And if you are a collector of physical gold, I wouldn't brag about it. I wouldn't tell anybody. I would keep it personally to myself. Because if you're talking to your neighbor someday, and maybe you don't know your neighbor as well as you think, and you're starting to talk about, oh yeah, I got this safe full of gold bars in my house. You never know what's going to happen next time you go on vacation. You'll come home and you'll see a big hole where your safe used to be. Michael says, Bloomberg says Bitcoin, that traders betting on 70,000, which 79,000 did hit. Yeah, I mean, Bitcoin, when we get into a crypto winter, I have a feeling like I'm calling the bottom at about 50K. I could be so wrong, though. Bitcoin sometimes does surprising things. But the thing is, there's so many more people invested in Bitcoin. There's a lot more capital in that market. So I have a feeling that I think 50K is going to be a really bad day for Bitcoin per se, but I'll be buying at 50K. No ands, ifs, or buts. Wayne says China has the world's largest gold reserve. That does not surprise me. Yeah, and silver is another good one. Jersky is in the house with a hello, good afternoon. Let's see. Alvino is great for silver. Nice. And silver has far more uses. Yeah, silver has some really good uses when it comes to circuit boards and electronics, both silver and gold. Sophie says, especially for defense airplanes, lots of silver and nickel. Yeah, absolutely. And if things keep getting out of control, Doug Ford's been talking about holding back the silver, holding back the nickel, all of that, all of those critical minerals that Ontario has. Let's see. Wayne says, I've talked about gold on this stream over a couple of years. Still nothing from 1,820 from November 2023. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, gold has its cycles. That's the thing. But the object is with gold is that gold, like all of the big growth on gold should be behind us. But when you're talking a hedge, that's where gold tends to stand pretty firm. And when you do start to get into situations like what we're heading into now, these are those times when gold's going to go back up. But on the other side of this, when the world is all happy and people start offloading their gold again, the price is going to come back down. It'll still be, I think we'll still have an all-time high at the end of it, but it will retrace a little bit when things get better. An inverse gold ETF. Those are the things to play when the world, when everything is tickety boo for sure. Chad says, heard Tulum buying back 64% shares over the next 5 years, and Hudson Bay going, yeah, Hudson's Bay. I heard that they're having some issues. And they were like a staple, a Canadian staple. I mean, hey, let's go to the Bay. I remember as a kid, that's where we always went to get our school clothes. Yeah, it's what can you do? I mean, it's another Canadian institution gone. Sophie says, right on, Wayne. I will swap some of my silver for gold when it makes sense. Let's see. Wayne bought gold back in 2004 when the ETF came out at $101 per ounce, including commission. You're up nicely. Let's see. And silver at $7.99. There we go. Wayne says, oh, this is awesome. I got gold back in 1970 when it was $32 an ounce from TD Investments. Cashed it in 10 years later to provide a down payment on my first house. Yeah, that's nothing too shabby about that. I mean, I still think, those type of growths in gold are probably they're probably not as realistic anymore, but it's still a darn good hedge. And like I said, on the end of this, and even when gold retraces, it's still going to be at an all-time high. All right. Zuzu says, at a convention center in downtown Ottawa, the federal Liberals will be announcing the results of the condensed leadership race around 6:30. Okay, all right. Fun. Wayne says, most of my gold trading buds switched to Bitcoin. There we go. And Sophie says, I have Bitcoin as well. And Chad likes Bitcoin. Better store of value. Let's see. ABX is a dog with fleas, serious problems in the DRC. So Barrick Gold again. Barrick Gold. Yeah, I did a deep dive on Barrick Gold quite a while ago. I might need to do one again just to dig into the weeds a bit more. Tom says, good afternoon. Do you think with declining interest rates, companies will begin to build more debt again as accrued assets with free money will be a necessity in competitive markets? I think some companies are probably going to be taking on debt. That's one of the things right now.
Sure how to help you with that.
Thank you, Alexa. I think that's one of the things that we have to sort of take into consideration is a lot of companies right now that have really good fundamentals. Their debt levels may be going up depending on how bad things get. And that's the whole thing. It's like, how bad is bad? It's one of those things that we have to sort of see. But I think there's a good chance that we're going to see some debt starting to hit different people. Not just businesses, not just companies. I think people, there's going to be a lot more debt. On the other side of this, I think there will be a lot more debt than we have coming in. Like I think right now in total, Canadians are up around, I can't remember the exact number. Somewhere around $2 trillion in debt. I wouldn't be surprised if we come out the other side like closer to 3 or 4 trillion. Um, it just would not surprise me. All right, Sophie says, I'm not selling mine, holding that for maybe 5 to 7 more years, and we'll see where we're at. Yeah, why not? Bismarcky says, what do you think of Lifecos? I'm thinking the Brompton Lifeco split core. I think here's the thing about insurance companies. So when it comes to insurance, you have to have it. It's kind of a necessity. So for that sense, even as we move through, let's say a recession, we'll say a recession right now. If we move through a recession, people still have to pay for their car insurance. They still have to pay for their house insurance. So, there's going to be a steady flow of cash for these companies, but there's so many other factors that can certainly come in. But I think when it comes to the actual tariffs, I don't think there will be a direct impact on some of the insurance companies. They will be to a certain extent, like they will have some heavy collateral damage, and they will definitely get impacted. But I'm still okay. I'm still okay, I think, with insurance companies. Now I tend to back off of split cores when times are rough. So I would still watch them like a hawk. If you're going to get into them, I wouldn't go blindly into Brompton Lifeco for that reason. CIBC is getting fleas. Yikes. What do you think of the bank ETF? You're going to find out really soon. You're going to find out really soon because that is the next deep dive that I'll be doing for Evolve. We're going to look at bank. So yeah, I'm going to hold my opinion for the bank ETF, for the bank ETF deep dive. Probably you're going to see that this month. I'm hoping they're supposed to be updating the information for me online. So once that's done, I can get in and get that one made. But I will say I am positive towards that ETF, and I will break it down, of course, in that video for you. And Chad's saying H Bank. It's equal weight. I think it's a ZIB from BMO. There we go. Let's see. A says, what do you think about Timber Creek in comparison to the big bank stocks with the mortgage renewals coming up? All right. So Timber Creek Financial. So they're in a mortgage investment company, so an MIC. I think like the lower rates will be good for them. So the lower rates will be fine because in that sense, they almost act like a REIT. But where they will be impacted is they do manage a lot of properties at the same time. And as people start losing jobs, and if the economy gets really bad, that could be an impact to their cash flow coming in. But I do like the company, and they have a half decent dividend. I don't think that's in danger. So this is a company that, I could consider, dollar cost averaging in if things got bad for them. But I think they'll be fine. I think the lower rates, and we haven't even seen all the positivity yet coming into the market for some of those lower rates. So it is a company, like I do hold them. I hold Timber Creek Financial in the 0 to 100K challenge. So I do like them. But it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun just to sort of watch how this is all going to unfold. So we're going to see stresses hitting the markets that are unusual. They're not normal. What's happening is not normal. So I think in that sense, it's going to be very interesting. Very interesting. I only feel bad for somebody who's brand new at investing coming in right now. Even though there's going to be great opportunity in front of them as things crash and things like that, it will probably be the type of thing that would scare the banana bread right out of somebody at this stage. Let's see. Chad says, just copy the bank ETF, pay no fees, and get 100% dividend. Well, there you go. That is one thing. But keep in mind, some of these ETFs as well will employ the covered calls, so that way there you can get more out of it, depending on what your goals are. Now, if you are in a if you're in pretty much a total return portfolio, um, you're probably better off going with doing what Chad said in that case, for sure. Absolutely. But if you're in an income portfolio, different story, completely different story. King of Day says straightforward buying physical gold, but how do you sell it if need be? Yeah, probably. Now I've never sold gold, but there are gold brokers. Now the problem is though, um, I would be you want to make sure it's very reputable because you don't want somebody who's going to try to be taking a big cut from your gold, because they do have to make some money. So there's going to be some kind of there would be some kind of a flip or a spread. But yeah, anybody who has anybody here actually sold gold? How bad was the spread if that's the case? Lisa says, Chad, what are the prices like at TD for gold? Do they charge a high premium? All right. Let's see. TD fee shipping on $200 order, I think. Checked the Canadian Mint out a few days ago. All gold sold out. See, this is when the Canadian Mint is sold out of gold, people are worried about the economy for sure. Yeah, Jordan does a lot of metal stuff. So Jordan knows definitely. So jewelers. So yeah, I mean, they need the gold too. They probably will they might take the gold and actually make jewelry from it. Sophie says, AU Bullion, if you're in the GTA, it's in Brampton. Also ask them to match. Most dealers will match. There we go. Let's see. A says, Laurentian is one of the only banks with negative EPS. Why does it lag behind the others? Laurentian is kind of small too. Yeah, I mean, I've not been a fan, but that's one of the reasons I think Laurentian is absolutely ripe for a takeover. But yeah, I would have to dig a little bit deeper into what's going on behind them. I've only looked at their surface data to date for Laurentian. Rory says, I'm still a fan of black gold, just can't store it. Well, you could, but you'll need a lot of barrels. Let's see. Lisa says, anyone buy gold from Costco? Hard to beat their price on maples. I like dealing with silver gold bull as well. What do you think about Costco decline? Costco. Let's take a gander. Let's take a look at Costco. Whoops, I need to bring up. Here we go. Costco. Here we go. Oh, that's the CDR. Let's actually go to the U. Oh, this is here we are. Yeah, Costco. Yeah, that's a nice drop right there. But let's head over here. That they're actually not doing so bad. They're not doing so bad. But look at this drop. I assume that this is what you're talking about. Is this little drop here? I'm wondering here. Did they? I just want to rule something out here. All right, I'm going to add them here. All right, let's come in here. They did earnings. I was thinking that looked like an earnings. That's why I wanted to check. So they, well, the revenue was fine. They actually they did exceed on the revenue by 90.97%, but they did come in a little bit lower on their earnings per share. So they had an estimate of $4.09. They came in at $4.02. So yeah, that's what happened here. Yeah, the earnings, bad earnings, that will do it. And I looked at it and I'm like, I know I've seen a few things like this recently, but it felt like an earnings call. So hence I brought it up over here for us to look at. Yep, earnings. All right. Let's come back here. Chat says working bulldog. Okay, or sorry. Let's see. It's one of the cheapest compared to my local guys in Gitco, and the price gold charges or the gold changes way too fast to keep up with current prices. I need to do your own research. Yeah, absolutely. Let's see here. Oh, I feel like I've already answered this question. Why is Laurentian Bank one of the only banks with a negative EPS? Any issues you are aware of? And that's the thing. I'm not really aware of anything with Laurentian Bank. I'd have to look deeper into them. Right now, I've only looked at their surface data. All right. Prairie saying, yeah, my Manulife Financial and Great Western, Great Western are my top two holdings all time. Nice. Yeah. I do. Manulife Financial is a company that I have loved for a while. Like, yeah, like take a look. Let's take a look here. Now they also have access to the China market. So, MFC. Here we go. All right. So they're currently sitting at 42.08. But yeah, I mean, if you look at them, they have absolutely exploded. They're having a good time, even though they're down a little bit right now. I mean, this is a company that has done really, really well. And spoiler alert, they might actually be in Tuesday's video. Chat says missiles uses lots of silver, and so do EV vehicles. So I think silver's going to moonshot over the next few years. Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me. Would not surprise me. All right. Let's see. As long as the International Monetary Fund continues to hold 3,000 tons of gold, I will stay long. Yeah, that makes sense. Gold's never, it's never going to go out of style. The only way that we would ever really get a crash in gold is quite literally if an asteroid came to Earth that was entirely made out of gold and we were somehow able to capture it. That would be, and even then, hard to say. All right. Most cities have licensed coin shop dealers. Costco sells gold and silver. There we go. We got a whole bunch of it. Oh my God, I've almost caught up. That's good because we still got lots of news left. Lisa says you can't beat Costco's prices on gold or silver, just limited on selection. I know they have a hard time keeping it in stock. Wayne says I don't trade the physical, only futures contracts. I also hedge from time to time. Yeah, makes sense. All right. Let's. Oh, I have to get back to here. All right. Let's move to our next story, and this one is crazy. So there's a bit of a snowbird problem. So snowbirds, those of you who don't know who they are, those are basically seniors and retirees that basically spend their winters down in Florida or other southern states, escape the Canadian winter. Now, what's interesting is that these people, they provide a huge boost to the U.S. southern tourism dollars. So the U.S. makes billions and billions off of these folks every year. Now, there's a problem. Trump has this new executive order that actually it's been out since day one. It was one of the day one ones he signed. It's called Protecting the American People Against Invasion Executive Order. And that order is about to make life a little bit worse for the snowbirds. So according to that order, snowbirds, not boards, snowbirds will soon have to register to travel south of the border as part of an effort to curb illegal immigration. So this may actually be the first time in history that the United States has included Canadians in a crackdown on undocumented migrants. Now, according to immigration lawyers in the U.S., they said the order is basically targeting the wrong people and has a good chance of further hurting and disintegrating Canada-U.S. relations. Oh, there's what's left of the Canada-U.S. relations. Now, a lot of these snowbirds, a lot of them own property in the South, and a lot of them pay quite a bit of taxes because these people tend to be high income earners. Now, apparently the details of the new rule, they're still being worked out. Immigration consultants are saying that Canadians who arrive by air should be considered registered already because they receive something called an I-94 form. However, those Canadians who drive down, they may have some issues crossing into the U.S. by land, and they typically will not already be registered, so they will have to go through a registration and process, which also, it actually includes getting fingerprinted and everything as well. So it's going to be a pain in the butt for any of the snowbirds. Currently, Canadian tourism adds about $20 billion into the U.S. economy. And that was according to U.S. Travel Association. So in Florida alone, Canadian travelers contributed an estimated $6.5 billion U.S. to the state's economy. The tourism group warned that even a 10% reduction in Canadian travelers would mean 2 million fewer visits and about 14,000 job losses for the US. What can we say? What can we say? Holy banana bread. I just like, I can't, sometimes I can't believe the stuff that's going on. I just can't believe it. All right, GLCC, I guess that means bot. Oh man, Carney won. Big shock. Did he win? Are we there yet? Let me refresh the Globe and Mail here and see. I mean, we know he's going to win. So right now, nothing reported yet. But yeah, we know he's gonna win. There's no ands ifs about it. And Sophie says, "Are you really surprised as long as Pierre beats him?" All right. Wayne says, "Candace, that's wrong. The reporting is done on the U.S. form I-94, has been on the books for years. I have an I-94 record going back to 2012. Good to know. Good to know. Yeah, it could be wrong. I pulled it out of the news. And just trying, where did I get this one? I think I actually got that one out of the Globe and Mail. So I'm gonna blame the Globe and Mail if that I-94 thing is a little bit off. Holy cow. Holy cow. Sophie says, yeah, he'll slap it on the steel we don't use. You gotta love it. You gotta love it. All right, let's move to our next story. Now that we're finally ahead of the game, we got our weekly trade war front lines. So, of course, tariff wise, as I mentioned earlier, those 25% tariffs on everything and 10% on energy, they went live on Tuesday, and we hit back. So the Canadians, our first round of retaliation tariffs, basically 25% tariffs on roughly 30 billion worth of US goods, of course, by Wednesday. And we kind of expected this. Those tariffs were going to destroy the auto sector. There's no way that you could just, there's no way. I mean, there were estimates that a new car was going to cost $12,000 more US because of those tariffs. So he did give an exemption on Wednesday. So he rolled that back. Now, he did say that it was just for a month, but yeah, I have a feeling that one's going to have to go longer. There's just no way to unentwine the auto sector and all of the car manufacturing between Canada and the U.S. It was built that way. It was built to be that way. So you can't just turn that off. Now, also on Wednesday as well, or sorry, on Thursday, I think it was Thursday. He actually then exempted anything that's covered under the North American trade agreement. So that's the CUSMA. Now that has also basically that's all been until April 2nd. So basically paused. There's still a lot of things that are not on that. That basically 62% of Canadian imports are not covered by the CUSMA. So basically 62% of our stuff right now is getting hit by tariffs. Now he did. And the farmers were all calling out because Canadian potash, really important. They need it big time. And he listened and he did lower the tariff on that to 10%. Now, despite all of this, the Canadian tariffs are staying in place, but we're not adding the next round until after we see what's happening with the reciprocal tariffs on April 2nd. So that's a good thing. Doug Ford, though, he has announced a 25% tax on energy sold to the U.S. from Ontario, and that's going to go ahead as of Monday. So that has not been pulled back. And that will affect Americans and, of course, Minnesota, Michigan, and New York, who receive Canadian energy. So they'll be looking at, 25% more. All of that fun stuff. Another interesting thing, trade barriers coming down, Canadian booze. So the federal government has made a deal with most provinces to allow alcohol to be sold in other parts of the country. So this is part of a wider push to eliminate those interprovincial trade barriers. Now, only 2 provinces have decided not to get involved with the alcohol part, and that is Newfoundland and PEI. So if you were hoping for Screech, in BC, you're not going to get it. But everybody else, you can enjoy BC wine anywhere in Canada except for Newfoundland and PEI. So we're moving in the right direction. We are absolutely moving in the right direction. Gotta love it. You gotta love it. Oh boy. Let's see. A Buffalo, New York lawyer is soliciting business. What USNA sell and was profits a beat on February 24th, but drop and wonder why the drop to rally and could levels to drop again. USNA. Let me take a look. Here, Michael. USNA. I'm going to refresh the Global Mail while we're there, just in case we still don't have anything in here. But still, we all know it's going to be Carney. All right. So you said USNA? Okay, yeah. So USANA Health Services. All right. Oh, look at this. Now, that's not a bad growth. And they have retracted a little bit there. But that's 5 days. That's actually 5 days. Let's actually go a little bit longer. Oh, never mind. They've had a good 5 days, but this has not been. But you know what? I mean, when we look at if you look at the health sector in the U.S. right now, this is kind of common. Like, look, if we even let's go to Pfizer, for example. Whoops. PZE. There we go. All right. I'm just going to. All right. Oh, well. For some reason today, I cannot spell a single thing. All right. There we go. PFE. There we go. Boom. I don't go there that often. But if we look, you can sort of see they were doing okay, but now kind of that downward trend. We're starting to see that more and more right now. And I have a feeling the whole health sector, I think, is going to have a lot of fun under JFK Jr. So you gotta love it. I think we're going to see a lot more of this, Michael. Other than that, I don't have any other insights into USNA. I haven't really had a chance to look at them that much. Rory says Newfies will have to buy Freedom, a 35 lager from Bubbles. Nice. I think that's a trailer park guy. Trailer park. What is it? The trailer park guys. All right. Chad says, ha ha ha, Rory. Fun. All right. All right. Let's pull up here. Whoops. All right. Now I don't have a lot when it comes to news from the Hill because it's kind of live right now. We got the whole thing happening, but we'll advance. We'll advance nonetheless. Whoops. Oh, that's because I'm in. Never mind. Let me pull that off. Let's go here. And then I'll pull it up. There we go. All right. So I did get the latest polls, though. So I looked at some updated polls, and the latest that we have right now is, we do have the Conservatives back up top at 40.3%, followed by the Liberals at 30.8%, NDP 14.4%, Bloc at 6.8%, Green at 4.2%, and the People's Party coming in at 2.5%. Now, even though the Conservatives have moved back up, polls right now, it's still coming in that if there was an election held today, it would still be 171. So that's actually minority by 1 seat. Liberals at 125 is solid. So that would be a solid opposition. NDP 14, Bloc 31, and Green 2. But these are these are in flux quite a bit. And there's also a pretty good standard deviation on these as well. So pretty much anything can happen. Chances are, if we held election day, I still think we'd have a Conservative majority. It wouldn't be as strong as it was before, but what can I say? All right. Holy banana bread. Let's see here. Where are we at? Trailer Park Boys. There we go. The boys. Yeah. Ha ha ha. Let's see. TD Bank will buy back gold. All right. Any idea about Killam Apartments? Why is the EPS low compared to other apartment REITs? Um, that's a good question. I mean, Killam they are one of the bigger ones in Canada for sure. Let's see. Let's drop over here. Let's actually pull them up. Killiam. Is that how you spell it? There we are. Yep. All right. So yeah, here's the Killam apartment REITs. Just taking a quick look at them. They get a half decent 4.293% monthly dividend. Love it. Now, and you're asking about what their EPS? 2 point. That's a good question. Right here, I'm not even seeing an EPS. I might have to look at something else. But let's pull up. Yeah. Here was that big spike we got with all REITs. But since then, they've been down quite a bit. And they haven't really shown a lot of recovery. So, interesting. I would have to dig a little bit deeper into Killam to sort of figure out what's going on there. But let me take a gander in here for a second. They've got a pretty good return on equity, 23.97. That's not too shabby at all. Their debt actually is not that bad, 71% debt to equity. Return, yeah, I like their back end numbers. So hard to say. I'm not sure why it is lower compared to the other apartment REITs, but I do like what I'm seeing with this. Like, this does look very stable. Other than, let's pull this up here. Just when we look at it this way here, you can sort of see, yeah, here, this is a better view. You can see the big jump, and this was from the initial rate cuts, but they have, they've fallen quite a bit. When we look at other REITs, for example, let's look at, we'll go to RioCan. I mean, you're going to see some similar stuff here, but you're also going to see a better recovery after this. So it comes down, and they've been doing, they've been rolling out and doing a little bit better. So that'd be cool. All right. Can sell to pawn shops, can sell to jewelry stores, can send to friends. Oh, there we go. What's on the t-shirt? All right, just give me a second. Let me pull this over. All right, so this here, it says, I'll lean back, Holy Banana Bread. It's one of the merch that we have in the merch shop. So yeah, Holy Banana Bread is what's on the t-shirt. All right, Vineet, welcome to the show. Let's see. Hi all. Hope everyone is well. Hi Candace. Warmer weather upon us. Ready to print this. Nice. You gotta love it. All right. And Chad's saying, yeah, Banana Bread t-shirt. Global XGLCC thinking. Holy Banana Bread, blessed by Candace herself. There we go. Consult to me as well. I like gold. Car UN is down over 6 months too. Yeah, I mean, a lot of REITs. And this is the thing. REITs are normally REITs do really well with rates coming down. And, I'm leveraged. I don't want to use the word leverage, but I do have a good amount of investment in REITs right now, and I'm waiting for things to do better. This year was predicted to be really good for REITs, but once again, Donald Trump is upending everything. I still think we'll see. I haven't lost faith in REITs yet, but I'm definitely watching to see what happens with these tariffs and how this is going to impact. Once again, REITs, they're going to be something that's not going to be directly hit by tariffs. They'll be hit by collateral damage as everybody else will. So yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. What can I say? All right. I'm trying to get through the news here. Let's see, what else do we have? All right. Oops, I guess I should probably advance our ticker. All right. So, we've got some news on some hacking. So, fraud losses. And I always think this is an important topic to bring up. I always love bringing it up because I think you have to stay really, really aware of fraud. So right now, fraud losses have soared past $2 billion since about 2021. So just in 2024, so just last year, $238 million was lost to something called impersonation fraud, which is one of Canada's fastest growing scam categories. And yeah, I mean, it helped push, of course, that total fraud beyond that $2 billion. And here's the scary thing. When I mentioned something like 638, you're thinking, okay, yeah, that's a lot of fraud. But it's actually just the tip of the iceberg because a lot of people do not report some of the fraud incidences. A lot of people just sort of take it and they're like, well, I just got scammed out of a couple $100. Oh, well, I'll learn for next time. So there's about, they estimate, like experts are saying roughly 5 to 10% of total fraud are actually reported. And at this point, the fraudsters are getting really, really good. They now have AI, so they're getting incredibly good. And they're basically creating more and more sophisticated scams that are feeling more and more like the real thing. So it is very important for Canadians to, well, you got to trust your instincts. If you even think a hint of, am I getting scammed? You got to pull back. You got to pull back. Especially if you're getting anything unexpected. If you get an unexpected call or message, you gotta take it with a grain of salt. There's a lot, like some right now, it's easy to basically to use AI to duplicate anybody's voice. And it's gonna get, I have a feeling that it's gonna get a lot worse before it gets better. I have a feeling it's gonna get really, really bad with these scammers because they're getting before, and we're talking the good old days, well, like the early 2000s, you used to be able to tell, like, you get an email or something, there'd always be, or you get a message, there'd be broken English in there. You could tell English wasn't their first language, or, you could tell something was amiss pretty darn easily. And it used to surprise me that so many people still got scammed then. But now it's at that point where it's gotten very sophisticated. And sometimes they'll call you up. They might pretend that they'll call and they'll say, hey, Granny, I need help. Little things like that. And they can make it look really, 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 really interesting. And we've talked before as well about the marketplace one. So with the marketplace one, it's like you put an ad up on marketplace and let's say you're selling, I don't know, you're selling an old bike. Well, somebody will call up and say, oh God, yeah, I want it. Can I send you the money? And you'll be like, yeah, sure. And so they'll send you that, you'll get that email from them and it looks like a transfer. It looks like an e-transfer. So you'll go in, you'll click on your bank and you'll sign in, to get that e-transfer, but it's not a real e-transfer and everything will get stuck. You'll get kind of stuck and it'll be like, you're waiting for it to go through and it's not going through. It's basically wasting your time while the hackers on the other end are going into your bank with the credentials you just gave them and they're taking whatever they can get their hands on it out of there. Now, there is a way. So if you sell things on, so let's say you do sell things on Marketplace very regular, and you got two options. One option is to only accept cash. It's like, nope, you can pay me with cash when you get here. That's the safest option, 100%. The other option is if you turn on auto deposit. That way there, if you go to sell it to them, they're like, oh yeah, I'll send you the money by e-transfer. Well, if they legitimately send it to you by e-transfer, it's an auto deposit, just bang, straight into your account. If they send you one of their phishing emails to try to trick you into logging into your bank so that they can steal your info, you'll know that it's not legit because you would not receive one of those because, well, you have auto deposit on. So definitely turn on. If you accept e-transfers for whatever reason on the internet, you gotta turn on the auto deposit. It will save you. It'll save you from getting scammed. So anyway, that's one of the reasons I wanted to bring that one up, because I think it's really, really important that, we don't, we spend all this time investing and making money. I just don't want to see any of you guys lose your money really fast because of, one of these hacker people. Chad says, let's see. Trump also came out with a gold visa program. 5 million buys you citizenship. Yeah, yeah, and you know, there's probably some people that might do it, but at the same time, I don't know. From what I've heard, there's been a lot of people who've been sort of exiting the United States, and I think the one of the latest was James Cameron basically said, "I'm giving up my U.S. citizenship. I'm leaving. I'm moving." So there's been a lot of people who've been doing that. There's people really, really fed up with what's going on. All right. Michael says, which food companies been beating on earnings since people must? Yeah. I mean, food companies, I think, are going to be good. I think for the most part, most food companies tend to be recession-proof companies. So in Canada, for example, like Loblaws. And well, heck, let's actually just jump over for a second to Loblaws. All right. Very easy. L. All right. Well, that's just the 5 days, but let's just go. Just look at the last year. Yeah, you get some downs, but for the most part, these are going to be companies that are going to be stable. So Loblaws, Dollarama, Metro, and I imagine with the U.S., it's going to be very much similar. Your big chains are probably going to are going to be fine. So something to keep in mind. And Chad's mentioning, yeah, Walmart, Loblaws, Dollarama, all of that fun stuff. The PE has dropped from 39 to 18 on PFE with new drugs coming to the market. There we go. Yes, good old Pfizer. Good old Pfizer. I mean, I still like Pfizer overall as a company. Like they've done so much, but they're going to have a rough time. I think right now, at least under this current the current administration. All right, let's get the rest of this. We're getting there. We're almost done. All right. Whoops. I need to be in the right window. I need to be in the right window before I bring up. All right, here we go. All right. So we got a Montreal story. So there's a new state-of-the-art science hub that's being built in Montreal, and it is to include a medical research lab and an incubator to nurture startups. So the goal is to attract more life science companies, talent, and investment dollars from around the world. Makes sense. Now, Montreal currently is a top 10 life science hub in North America, and their goal is through investments like this is to get up into the top 5. I think they're hoping to be top 5 by about 2037 or 2047, somewhere in that area. But that is their overall goal. Canada's life science sector, currently they do excel at research, but here's where they have a bit of a problem. So when it comes to turning that research and that work into commercial products, they have struggled quite a bit. And and the whole life science business, the real economic benefit comes in bringing, what you discover, bringing it to market. That's where the money is to be made. So about 80% of the funding in Canada's life science sector is for research and development, while very little is invested in helping research teams bring products to market. And that's a problem. So until that happens, what ends up happening right now currently is we do the research and we just give it to the US and they make the products and commercialize it. So that needs to change. And that's one of these things that is definitely happening. They're moving in the right direction. We have to be the ones to bring all of this stuff to market. All right. And let's see here. Chad says, and MWC ships food to Northern Canada and think 5 Giant Tiger stores will go up to 30 stores. Yeah, I like Giant Tiger. Giant Tiger is nice. I mean, I think we have one in Ottawa. I don't have a clue where it is, but Michael says, I don't know about Canada food companies. I only know U.S. food companies. And when I put L in that, I get different insurance company. Yeah, absolutely. Loblaws is a Canadian company. So I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure who L is in the U.S. Now I want to know. I want to know. Let's take a quick gander. I'm just curious. I'm curious here. Oh, let's do this here. LUS. I still get, oh no, it's Lowe's. Lowe's. Okay. Oh yeah, I've heard of Lowe's. There we go. So yeah. Hey, and it looks like they're doing okay too. Maybe the L is a lucky letter, but let's take a look. Yeah, they're having a pretty good year as well. Lowe's and yeah. Yeah, okay. Oh, okay. There we go. Yeah, they're a holding company, but anyway, we'll leave it at that. All right. Let's We do have one last story. I keep doing it. I keep doing it. All right. There we go. I will get used to the new system pretty darn soon. I do like it a lot better though. So Canadian Tire is looking to kind of reinvent themselves. So they are looking to spend about $2 billion on a major restructuring. They're calling it True North. So they say that their new plan is going to be to move the business model away from its holding company model to a more agile, organized, to a more agile organization by aggregating the system and data it holds across all of its banners. So basically, get rid of some of the redundancies between Canadian Tire, Sport Check, Party City Marks, and Pro Hockey Life. They are all owned by Canadian Tire. So they do believe that by doing this, it will help them to become more competitive, especially in a tariff environment. Now, they are going to close 17 Atmosphere stores, and some of their clothing focused stores are going to be moved into Sports Check just to sort of help, once again, streamline things a little bit. So, in addition to these closures, Canadian Tire's new plan will see it optimize its Sports Check portfolio with new concept stores and expand its loyalty program by adding brand partners that issue Canadian Tire money and striving to acquire more. They got their MasterCard, Triangle MasterCard. So they want more people using their credit cards. They're also looking and this is a good thing for investing. They want to carry out up to 400 million in share buybacks, doubling before they had already had a plan to do 200. So they're doubling that to 400 million. But right now, and this is where I guess the tariff part comes in. They do purchase about 15% of their goods from Canada, and they're estimating that they could find Canadian suppliers for about 25 to 30% of the items that they currently get from the U.S. And that they're going to do that for sure. But some items are going to get more expensive. There's just no way around it, unfortunately. So what can you do? What can you say? Now, before I close out the news for the day, coming up this week, we do have the Bank of Canada rate decision on Wednesday, and we are expecting a 25 basis point cut. So we'll see how that goes. In the U.S., we have Wednesday, we got the CPI, and on Thursday, we got the PPI. And coming up earnings-wise in Canada, we've been talking a little bit about gold. So Franco-Nevada, so FNV, they do have their earnings. And also a channel favorite, Bird Construction, have earnings as well. Not a lot in the U.S. for big names. Probably the biggest names in the earnings game in the U.S. is going to be Oracle and Adobe. So you gotta love that. You gotta love that. So yeah, that's the news. The news is done. All right. I love it. All right. Now let us there, we'll just head back. We'll head back to the big me for now. I love it. The news is done. Oh, that is fantastic. All right. So if you guys have any last minute questions, now's the time to get them out. We'll answer whatever you got, all of that fun stuff. I'm going to take one more peek over here at the leadership race and see if we got anything popping up here yet. We still might have to wait 30 minutes to get an official answer. Let's see. Elbows up. Trudeau says his Liberal Party elects new leader. All right. Well, I'm going to go in. I'm going to go in. These are their live updates. Let's see if we got anything in here at all. Further reading. Justin Trudeau's long fall from grace. Okay. We also have a live here. Let's see here. Let's see. Mark Carney is talking. Let's Yeah, we're not. Well, we won't actually go into the leadership convention per se, but it looks like they're getting pretty darn close. Looks like they're getting close. Oh, guys, I went to the wrong Globe and Mail. I went to the long Globe and Mail. All right, let's refresh this again. There we go. Yeah. So right now we don't have anything. We don't have anything here other than just these live updates. But yeah, it's not telling me. It's not telling me. We kind of know. We all know it's going to be Carney. We know it's going to be Carney. Ferris is in the house with a hello. Hello there, Ferris. Hope you're having a good day. Empire Company has earnings on Thursday. Yes, absolutely. Um, yeah, nothing too wrong with that. All right, guys. Holy banana bread. I can't believe we've been at this for 2 hours already. We're now that we're past 2 hours, it's not going to give me the option to make a short, unfortunately. Um, I might have to do one manually. Ferris says Bitcoin is dipping. Let's take a gander. Let's head over here. That's Costco, but let's head up here to Bitcoin. Let's see here. Yeah, look, they're down 5% on the day. Oh yeah, look at that. It's more fun. I think right now, actually, let's go to the stock heat map. Yeah, look at this. Ethereum down 8%, XRP down 6. This is a lot of red. Yeah, right now. Mint Club. Those of you who were here on Friday, this Mint Club, it was up like let's pull it up. Yeah. So it went from 0.000002 all the way up to 6.7 cents. So this is something like a crazy 2 million and something percent increase, but it's coming back down to earth pretty darn fast. Look at that. Look at that. Yeah, I was warning people on Friday's market close. It's like, yeah, leave this one alone. This one's kind of crazy. So I I'm standing happy with this. I'm like, yep, this is typical. Very, very typical. So we'll have to sort of see. But yeah, Bitcoin, crypto in general, absolutely crashing right now. Yeah, tomorrow should be a fun day. I still feel like we're gonna have a green market tomorrow. I'm feeling that, but when it comes to Trump, you kind of have to sort of take it all in stride because anything could happen. He's such a wild card. But yeah, anyway, right now, what can we say? Let's see. Because the U.S. Crypto Summit wasn't impressive. Yeah, that'll do it. That's one of the things about crypto, and this is one of the reasons that I don't feel like crypto is a hedge against inflation, is that it's just so darn temperamental. It's like, yeah, we didn't like this conference. Let's crash everything. Things will recover. Now, if that's why it's going down right now, then it's probably going to recover and rebound a lot of that on that tomorrow. But what can I say? Now, is there any I'm kind of curious to see if anybody, at least big name wise, is doing better. Like, yeah, like look at this. These are all coins that I do not really recognize, like Mythos, WeMix. Okay. Binary X, Super Trust. Oh, this one's a real lemon, isn't it? Right down here. Yep. They're up 7.38% though. Oh, here we are. Here it is. Here's the coin. Here's the coin of the day. Hamster Combat. What the heck is that? It has to be a game or something, but what can I say? What can I say? All right. Well, guys, this has been another fantastic stream. We had another good afternoon. We'll be back here again next week. We do have another live stream on Wednesday for the market close. We'll also have a new leader. So we should have a new leader a little bit later today. Probably we all know it's Mark Carney. It's Mark Carney. There's no way around it. Ferris says Sophie is expected to support crypto trade and stock may bull this year. Yeah, I still think we could have a good second half of the year for crypto. But anyway, guys, and this is easy. See, I have I can pull up. I also have this one here too, for if I want to zoom in. There we go. I got all kinds of windows. I can build a whole bunch more, so I'm happy. I'm happy with it. It's pretty cool. But anyway, in the meantime, guys, I'm gonna call it for tonight. We've had another good afternoon. We will be back, as I said, Wednesday. We got a video coming out. Basically, a little bit more defensive type stocks once again coming out on Tuesday. You don't want to miss that. Channel members can see that tomorrow. And if you haven't yet voted for the deep dive on Friday, right now, I think Canadian Utilities is winning by a tiny bit. So if you're if you're a Pembina Pipelines fan, you might want to get in there and throw them a vote or two. Or if you want to, if you're Canadian Utilities fan and you don't want Pembina Pipeline to catch up, then absolutely hit them up. But it's all on that community tab. We'll be back. Like I said, we'll be back again on Wednesday. Until then, everybody, enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy our new leader. Enjoy our new leader. All right, everyone, take care.